Well, it is second from bottom against third from top under the dome as our live J1 League action comes from Sapporo. Welcome along. Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo have won only twice all season in this division through their first 15 fixtures. And they face a tough task today against a title contender. Kashima Antlers are Japan's most decorated club and currently one of the J-League's most informed teams. Unbeaten in their last 6 games in it, winning 5 of them. And they can move level on points with the leaders, MEIJI YASUDA, with another victory this afternoon. Tall order for Consadole, who were beaten in stoppage time last weekend at Kashima Antlers. They did win their last home game by 1-0 here against Jubilo Iwata, only their second victory of the J1 season. Start today just a couple of points above the bottom club Kyoto Sanga, and 3 short of safety. 18 points and 16 places behind the third-placed Kashima Antlers, who have brought plenty of support with them on the long trip north to the island of Hokkaido. The stage almost set in Sapporo. Campaign so far for these home fans, but for the visitors, particularly on the road of late, they have been hugely impressive. From their last 3 away games in this division, last won 4 in a row back in April of 2022. Here they come today. Contrasting campaigns so far for Consadole and Kashima. This is a game that will have a bearing on both ends of the table. Consa out to produce an upset to aid their battle at the bottom. Their visitors in pursuit of a record 9th J-League title, having last won it back in 2016. They've never finished out of the top 5 since then, but current form has renewed hope of finally reclaiming that crown this year. It's a fixture that the Antlers have certainly had the better of recently. They did the double over Consa last season, and they are unbeaten in the club's last 8 meetings in all competitions, 6 of those in the J-League. That's a run that dates back to October of 2020, and Consa's last win against Kashima by a 0 here. The Antlers haven't lost any of their 4 visits to Sapporo since then. They arrive with renewed hope of sustaining a title challenge. 3 points behind MEIJI YASUDA, level on points with Vissel Kobe. Notably, they beat by a 0 last weekend, their last league game. Of the 2 sides, it was Consa who progressed in the 3rd round of the League Cup in midweek. They needed a penalty shootout to do so against 3rd-tier opposition Nago Pasero. The Antlers were beaten 2-0 at MEIJI YASUDA with a much-changed side. Their league form of late has been hugely impressive. 16 points taken from the last 18 available coming here. They are on the charge right now. Building nicely ahead of kickoff. Always a much anticipated contest, this one. Let's have a look at the team news for you. There are 3 changes to the Consadole Sapporo side, who started the 2-1 defeat at Kashima Antlers in their last league game 6 days ago. Ryota Aoki suffered a hamstring strain in that match, so he misses out, whilst Tomoki Kondo and Hiroki Miyazawa also make way. Ryu Takao makes only his 2nd league start of the season, whilst Toyo Nakamura returns to the starting lineup at the back as Saya Baba and Daiki Suga move into midfield. Hiromu Tanaka also comes in the absence of Aoki, whilst Kim Gun-hee keeps his place up front after making his first J1 start of the season last weekend. Satoshi Nakamura of Saitama is today's referee, his 10th game of this J1 League season. He's been officiating in this division for 13 years now. The backup in the booth on VAR duty comes from Hirokazu Otsubo and his team. This is the same Kashima Antlers side that started their 1-0 win over champions and then leaders Vissel Kobe last weekend. 5 of them also began their League Cup loss at Machida Zelvia on Wednesday, a game in which Radomir Milosavljevic suffered a hamstring injury which is set to rule him out for 2 months. Alexander Čavrić is again kept on the bench despite his 5 league goals this season on loan from Slovan Bratislava. Top scorer Yuma Suzuki leads the line. He's on 7 goals in J1 so far this year, joint 3rd overall in the race for the Golden Boot. Shumaruka continues his recent run in the side. He makes a 5th straight league start this afternoon. Well, 2 coaches who know each other very well. 2 Serbians in charge on the sidelines, both who hold Austrian citizenship as well. And the J-League's most experienced manager, Misha Petrovic, first came to this country with Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 2006. It was with Ranko Popovic as his assistant. They are in direct opposition today. Popovic in his first season in charge of Kashima Antlers. So kick-off as Consadole try and spring a surprise to kick-start their campaign, as Kashima Antlers aim to move level on points with the leaders. They are in their change kit, are the visitors in the white. To left in this first period, looking to launch the first attack of the game with Hayato Nakama. That's a good ball in as well. It might open up for the early opportunity. Nago just couldn't quite control it from that sort of range right in front of goal. Came at him quickly. Kashima Antlers coming at Consa very quickly, almost right from the start here. Did have numbers forward in support of the attack as well. Straight start for Nago. Did reach it first ahead of Sukuna. Tried to come quickly off his line, the goalkeeper. That would have been some start. On Suzuki, one of the in-form front men in this division so far this season. 7 goals. So Baba got a bit too tight to him on that occasion. Slightly different role we're expecting for Baba today, one of the ever-presents in the Consadole starting lineup this season. Luka. A bit of support from Nono forward from fullback as well. Does come for Suzuki. Isn't quite able to make it stick. Superchok to try and relieve the pressure and get the home team on the front foot. It's a difficult opening couple of minutes for Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo. Free-scoring side under Petrovic last season was conceding a lot of goals. They've still been conceding plenty this season, but worryingly for them, the goals really have dried up at the other end. Just the 13 scored through their first 15 matches. Only Kyoto Sanga, the only club below them, have scored fewer goals in J1 this season than Consa. To their opponents, 24 scored by Kashima Antlers so far. And they go in pursuit of more already. Might open up for the shot. Comes for Suzuki. He didn't quite catch it as intended. 3rd season back in his 2nd spell with Kashima for Yuma Suzuki. Luka did well in the build-up, and so too really did Nakamura to make the challenge that stopped him on the edge of the area. Confident start from those in white. Plenty of possession. Anzai goes back to Hayakawa in goal. Defensively, they have had their own issues, Kashima, this season. Tower, who started every game, has kept just the 4 clean sheets in J1. 17 goals conceded across the season so far. The record 8-time champions, Japan's most decorated club. I talked before the game, Misha Petrovic, about the tradition of Kashima. And it's always likely to be one of the most difficult fixtures of the season. So a game to embrace, particularly here at home. They have struggled under the dome of late, but they have an opportunity here through Super Chop to try and get themselves moving forward. Couldn't quite take it on, but he's looking as likely as anybody in the early exchanges amongst those in red and black. Here's Super Chok Sarachat, the Thailand international, regular in the starting lineup recently after that breakthrough season that he had last year. Again showing his willingness to drop deeper to get on the end of the ball, but when he does, there's not necessarily a focal point further forward. Kashima looking to move on from the disappointment of midweek defeat at Machida Selvia. 5 of this side did start that third round defeat. Mitchell Duke's 2 first-half goals saw them lose by the current J1 League leaders, having also suffered a defeat there by a 0-0 earlier in the season back in March. Nago was able to get a foot in. And back the way briefly of Komai, who couldn't hold it. Kashima have it here. Sugano in goal, just had time to take that extra touch. And now 40-year-old goalkeeper. He's in his 7th season with Consadole. Izo goes in field. Strong surge from Nago, but it was comfortably claimed by Sugano. The cross straight through to the goalkeeper. As I touched on, an excellent record in this fixture recently, Kashima Antlers. They won both league meetings last season, including here by a 0-0. Suzuki actually scored the winner that day. 3-0 it finished in the most recent meeting. Kashima beaten in 8 in all competitions between these clubs. Suga has overhit that one. Just a bit further forward on that left-hand side today, Daiki Suga. Searches for that elusive winning formula. There were more positive signs against Tupelo Iwata when they won the last home game by a 0-0. Asano scored the winner in that game, but he suffered a hamstring injury later in the match. Ruled out today, as he was last week. He's been joined by Aoki on the sidelines with a similar issue. Hokkaido one coming into the team today. So Baba does look like he has started more in the back line rather than the midfield position we were perhaps expecting him to push into. Well, that can change depending on whether they are in or out of possession. Starting to see a little more of the ball, albeit inside their own half of the field here. Suga just overran it, I think. go longer. Kashima Antlers in position to deal with that. Only his second league start of the season. First came in a 6-1 defeat. Konsa suffered at Vissel Kobe back in March. Had to be patient to earn his starting spot back again since then. Touch with Sheenan, he'll get it back again. Former Kawasaki Frontale player. He missed the one league game this season, which is his second year at the club. Almost in behind was Nago. That was a risky one from Saya Baba. He had to commit to that. Nago hurt in the process, as is Baba. Certainly stretched here. Good ball in behind. He did well, actually, Saya Baba, just to get his foot to it first. Popovic feeling maybe that his side should have had greater reward. He didn't feel that Baba got the ball first from his position on the touchline. Hasn't been much in it, has there, in the opening exchanges. Possession-wise, it's 50-50 so far. It's a wonderful little confrontation on the touchline, isn't it, between those two who know each other so well. As I mentioned at the start, worked together when Misha Petrovic first came to this league with Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Actually suffered relegation in that first season. Neither of them really have looked back. Sanfrecce came straight back under Petrovic to great success. Popovic eventually went his own way. And is the manager of real experience in this league himself, in his own right. At Oita Trinita, FC Tokyo, Cerezo Osaka, and twice at Machida Zelvia. Back in Japan this year with Kashima after a brief spell back home in the Serbian Superliga at Vojvodina. The replacement for Daiki Iwamasa for this season. And it was announced at the end of last year. Massa took them to 5th place last season in J1, but his contract wasn't renewed at the end of it. Just bounced away off Okamura. Baba guarding it back for Sugano. Carried on by Arano. Tanaka. Making only his second league start of the season. Period out on loan, playing in J2 last year as well. It's his 3rd senior season since he arrived from university. Started both of their League Cup games so far. It's Takao. We have Gamba Osaka. He spent 5 years. It's his first season with Consadole. Was well advanced, as is Tanaka here, able to bring that under control. Might get another go yet. Still with Tanaka. Plenty back in wide in the way. Takao. By Suga. Again, it's a little too far forward, comfortably gathered up by Hayakawa. That's risen through the ranks in Sapporo. Daiki Suga, 9th season now as part of the first team. The once-capped Japanese international. He's starting for a 6th game in succession. He's only missed the 1 in the league all season. Nakamura. Touch for Arano. Suga. Here's Okamura. Starting to settle, Konsa, after that difficult start to the game. Despite the defeat at Kashima Antlers, there were some positive signs in that performance 6 days ago. They were only beaten by a spectacular Diego header in stoppage time. The exception maybe of the 3-0 defeat at Frontale and that Bafétimbi Gomis hat-trick. They have been more difficult to beat of late, and they've only lost 3 of their last 11 games in all competitions. But it's just one win in 8. Prevail on penalties on Wednesday against the J3 side, Nagano Passero, and they had to come from behind to do so. Only scored the equalising goal in that game to force the shootout deep into stoppage time. Almost on the wrong end of an embarrassing upset. It was a much-changed team. Only the 3 coming into the starting lineup today from the last league game, also played in midweek. Nakamura, he's been a substitute more recently, off the bench in 4 of the last 5 league games before returning to the starting lineup today. Now Arano will leave it for Nakamura on the left side of that defence. Takao. By Baba, but it's given away. Arano committed to the challenge, didn't do enough with it. Suzuki has it here and helps it on, gets it back again from Nakama and puts it over the top. And that was a chance by Yuma Suzuki standards, certainly. A little bit fortunate how it fell favourably for him in the first place. He got it back again with some space in which to operate. I just got underneath it really as Nakama pulled it back to him. The play that they would have wanted on the end of that opportunity. That was neatly done by Komai. Consa victory in this fixture back in late 2020 by a 0-0 saw Yoshiaki Komai score the only goal of that game. 8 times they've met in the competition since then without further success for those from Sapporo. There's also Komai who got their only goal last weekend at Raysol. Looked like it was going to earn them a point. Equaliser at the start of the second half. Deserved parity all the way until stoppage time. It's his first goal and only goal of this season so far. Komai scored 4 times last year. Battling for that and then looking at the referee in the hope of the free kick, which was not forthcoming. Straight start for Nakama, Kashima Antlers player. Take a river throw. Ueda at the back, club vice captain, but wearing the armband today. Experienced Japanese international. He's in his 2nd season back at the club. He hasn't missed a minute for J1 since then. He was ever present throughout the entirety of last season. He has been again so far this season. First left back in 2018 for a spell in Europe. Played in Belgium with Cercle Bruges and with Nîmes in France more latterly. He's been an important figure at the back for Kashima ever since his return, certainly. Suzuki with a flick in behind. Gun-hee. There's Tanaka. Really have the room in which to work when it came back his way. Anza. He was just caught after releasing the ball. He'll be grateful to hear the whistle, because he had presented possession back to the home side, but there's a foul on him here. He came careering across and just caught him. South Korean striker started for the first time this season last weekend, kept his place today, but his name is the first taken by referee Nakamura for that challenge. Yellow card comes out. Showing his versatility this season, equally comfortable really on either flank at fullback. He's been the regular left back this term, with the impact that Kimito Nono has had on the other side. Who got the winner against Vissel Kobe last week. He started every game in his first season out of university as Nono. Look for him here. Against Kobe, his fourth of his rookie season already. Once we're allowed to continue, they've got the ball back. Suka, well advanced, aiming towards Kim with the cross. Maruka was back doing his defensive duties, his clearance only as far as Nakamura though. Komai to pick out Tanaka. Seems that Consadole are growing in confidence the longer it's gone on in this opening quarter of the contest. They were almost caught cold in the first couple of minutes. They are growing into the game. They are having more of a say going forward now, sustaining a little more pressure as well. They may have to rely on their home form this year. They're the only club actually in J1 yet to win away this season. They're taken low, but pretty convincingly cleared. They've now scored in each of their last 7 home matches. Only failed to find the target here in the first home game of the season. For a way through today. Here's Tanaka. Baba. Nakamura has overhit it. Still haven't been able to find that final ball yet. Need to have an effort on target in the game, but they are starting to see more of the ball now. Possession statistic creeping upwards for Consadole as we reach the midway point of this first half. Well, it has been a big drop-off in productivity in front of goal from last season when they were one of the league's great entertainers, really. The goals were flying in at both ends of the pitch. Suzuki and Baba. Too tight. It's with Yuma Suzuki that the referee is having the longer word here, as he states his own case and a rather different interpretation of events. Player for Suzuki under Popovic so far this year, certainly. Just a little bit too much on that as well. Neither side really able to get their attacking games going yet. Talking about Consa's goal threat last season, they scored 56 times. in 2023. Only the top two managed more. But they conceded the joint most in the division as well. 61 goals let in, the same as Gamba Osaka. As those defensive deficiencies have remained, worryingly the attacking threat this term hasn't quite been there. It's perhaps backed up by the early stats, despite shading the possession. Yet to have a shot at goal. Four at the other end. Oh no, the captain coming to collect possession. 15th season now with the first team for the Sapporo-born player, who rose through the youth ranks here and has not missed a single game this season in this division. One of the regulars that has been given the League Cup campaign off so far. There goes Kim, Tanaka. Stepping out of defence, as is Nakamura here, unable to play the pass though for Daiki Suga. That's the one he was looking for. Lovely little turn, wasn't it? Into space from Komai, neatly done in a tight spot. Operating at this level for the 8th consecutive season this year, the longest such run in their history. What to do if they are to extend that sequence next year, given their early struggles. Consistently finished mid-table in recent years. 12th last year. Finished in 10th spot in 3 of the previous 4. The rest for much of this season, and still just the one club below them. They only took 1 point from their first 6 league games this season. Big Consa, they've been attempting to play catch-up really ever since then. Got a lot of 5 successive defeats in which they conceded 15 goals and scored only 3, and they've not quite recovered from that yet. That's going to leave the free kick eventually. Another of the senior Japanese internationals, trying to pick out Nakama. 5 caps for his country so far for Anzai. Second spell with Kashima Antlers. He went to Portugal for a couple of years and Portimonense. Just number 1 forward from fullback here. And now is that run utilised? Help it on to Nakama, but the whistle had already gone. Just out of play here. Looking at that, it appeared to be the correct call. Strong challenge from Wada, did well to win it. And the free kick as well, with Anzai on the floor. That was given. present this season, Koki Anzai. They've been really strong in the fullback positions, with he on one side and Nono on the other. Big part of the way that they played under Popovic, getting those fullbacks forward. Concern for Shintaro Nago here. His knee just caught the back of his head. Gone up very high. Good Sayababa. Such an important, versatile player in this Consadole squad. Second season since his signing from Tokyo Verdy as a Japanese under-23 international. Previously went to an under-17 World Cup with them back in 2017. A couple of goals for Consa this season. A potential problem for Popovic with Nago still down here. They had struggled on their travels, Kashima Antlers, until recently. They've won the last 3 away games in J1. They'd lost the previous 4. In fact, before these 3 successive victories outside of Kashima, they'd only won 2 of the previous 15 away from home. Aiming for a 4th successive victory on their travels for the first time since April of 2022. That was part of a 10-game winning run away from home that they went up. Never approached those sort of heights until now, maybe. Coming forward. That was challenge. And that had been coming, I think. Into the book goes Sayababa. A hint of a complaint this time. In a difficult spot. Again, it's Nago on the receiving end. Over into the book. So his second caution of the J1 League season. Given the position that he plays, is perhaps a little surprising. Nakama on the move from Suzuki. At least that was the intention. Awano trying to get a foot in. Shot when it comes straight at the goalkeeper. From Kimito Nono. Again, he puts himself in that position. It was from that sort of territory, really, that he scored the only goal against Vissel Kobe last weekend. Didn't extend Sugano this time. It's been an outstanding first campaign. Now, where's that going? Oh! That was close. Super chop. Out of very little, really. Goalkeeper's clearance was helped his way, and it looked for a moment when that left the boot of Super Shock Sarachat as if it was going to drop in. It certainly had Hayakawa worried. Grateful to see that just drop the other side of the frame of his goal. Orthodox attempt at the finish, really. It was very nearly effective. He scored just the 1 goal this season, Super Jock. He got 7 last year. Still have to manage an effort on target in the game, but that's by some margin as close as they've come. Side. And back well by Arano. Whipped on towards Kim Gun-hee. Takao takes the tumble, wins the free kick. Suzuki, who conceded it, trying to get back and do his defensive duties. Naka's only previous start I mentioned was in that 6-1 defeat at Vissel Kobe. He was taken off at half-time in that game at 3-0 down. It was his debut. Come off the bench 8 times since then, before being afforded another chance in the starting lineup. It was Tanaka swinging in the cross, out by Wada. Nakamura did well in battling for the ball. He continued his foray forward. It was then just beyond him for Kim Gun-hee instead. Nakamura will continue the challenge here. Some space for Nakama. Just couldn't quite pick him out. Kashima unbeaten in there, that's 4 visits here, but 3 of those 4 trips have ended all square. Kosa actually haven't scored in the last 3 of those matches, those 3 home games against Kashima. They've blanked it all off them. Superchok nearly changed that today. Arano from Baba. Nakamura. That's a good ball. Suga. Kim able to get a foot in. Takao trying to ease it back infield for Arano. He now finally does get a foot to it. Superchok under pressure. He's conceded the free kick in the process. He just caught Maruka there. And he had eyes for the ball, but didn't quite manage to get it. Maruka caught. Finally getting a run in the side in his second senior season out of university, a 5th straight start. And he began the 1 game in J1 last year. His first 5 appearances of this season were all off the bench. He's now matched that number in terms of starts. And he's got the free kick here, which is taken by Hayakawa. Taking distance on the clearance from the keeper. Anzai. Having stayed down off the ball. And a little bit of afters here involving Anzai and Tanaka head to head with a bit to say to each other. Bit of sorting out for referee Nakamura to do after that. It all seemed to spark up out of very little really initially. Baba's challenge on Suzuki. Remember, he is on a yellow card, Saya Baba. I think that's what Koki Anse was trying to point out. Tanaka didn't take too kindly to him doing that. No backing down from either of them. Just a little chance for players of both sides to collect their thoughts heading towards half-time. Take a little time out. Have a look at that though. It appears as if the referee's decided a word with both of them will suffice. No further action taken. Nakama. Anzai. Maruka. He's left frustrated on the floor, having lost it. Wants to come clear with it. Arano. Suga. A little bit of space for him now. Superchok ahead of him. Pinch it ahead of Nono. Takao was stretching, but he couldn't quite reach it, couldn't quite collect it, so now has to hurry back again. Nakama. Fianzai. Fonsa have had time to get players back behind the ball. Back in position defensively. Suzuki. Maruka, good ball forward. Brought down beautifully, good save, but it's in this time. Thumped in emphatically. After Sugano had made the stop, he couldn't keep out the follow-up, though. He was given no chance by that one. And Kashima Antlers, in the final 5 minutes of this first half, have got themselves in front. And it was really well worked. Out of context to an extent with what had gone before. Had that chance right at the start of the game. Had Nago had been kept quiet since then until now. Scores his third goal of the J1 season, Shintaro Nago. Really good save from Sugano initially, but he was quickest to react. It was Nago to thump in the follow-up. And have his team on course to move level on points with the leaders today. Not necessarily argue it had looked like it had been coming. But Kashima Antlers have got their goal as they look to maintain this impressive unbeaten run that they're on in J1. 5, remember, of 6 without defeat coming here. Wonderful response to losing 3 of the previous 4. And they're very much back on track today after at times a difficult first half for them. Certainly not had it all their own way. Haven't created too much of note since the early stages until that goal from Nago. Took it really well. Brought it down beautifully to get the initial shot away, and then made sure from the rebound. He scored earlier this month in the 3-3 against Tokyo Verdy. And a 2-1 victory at Kashiwa Reysol. His first 2 goals of the season had come in those back-to-back matches. It's been a very productive month of May for him. He scored all season until this month. He's a player in form for a team in form right now. He's shot in the back of Nakama from Takao. Now we need to see a response from Consadole. It's going to be a big ask today against this level of opponent in the sort of form that the Antlers arriving. More going to be required from the home side from here. 2 clean sheets for them in 17 matches now in all competitions after the concession of that goal late in the first half here. Context there, goal-scoring struggles really. The 3-3 draw against Shannon Belmare here at home at the end of April is the only league game this season where Consta has scored more than 1 goal in a game. Not particularly likely to change that in this first half. Well, running out of time if they are to get themselves back on terms before the break. hasn't seen, though, during his time in charge. Actually got 284 at the helm of Consa. He had 262 with the Urawa Reds. More matches managed in J1 than any other manager in the history of this division, Misha Petrovic. In his first season with Sanfrecce remains the only one on his CV. There's Superchok to Suga and back again. Suga had continued his run. Superchok was trying to thread it in behind as we advance into 4 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Nakamura, pretty comfortably claimed by Hayakawa. His work relatively routine thus far, there hasn't been a lot of it. There was that one nervous moment when he watched Superchok's effort sail over his head and dropped just wide. Eye on the charge and continued that run. Required the defender's intervention. Sheenan had stepped in then to win it for Kashima. And have it back here with Ueda. Hayakawa. It's not always been the most straightforward for referee Nakamura in this first half. As has been the case in recent matches, really, have been giving this a go, just looking a bit short of both confidence and quality, maybe, where it really matters. So you're not getting outplayed in games too frequently. Helping it on. Nakamura. He's returned to start the last 3 games now. Daiichi Okamura at centre-back, having also begun the first 9 of the season. It's a little ponderous in possession at times, but patience may well be required against this Kashima side. Fullback Arano. Not been able to quite get the service into Kim Gun-hee yet. He's operated on the periphery, really, of the first half as the central striker. Nakamura here helping it on. Superchok was looking for Komai, not only as far as Tanaka, but he flags up on this near side. Fought the Consa attack before it ever really got started. For Petrovic to ponder ahead of his half-time team talk. Haven't actually gone behind too often recently. It did happen at Kashiwa Racehall last weekend, and they scored the equalising goal just a couple of minutes into the second half. Behind half an hour in at Kawasaki Frontale in the previous away game. That first of the 3 Bafétimi Gomis goals. And opened the scoring in the previous 8 matches in a row prior to that. Looking to chase this one, though. It's the last of the 4 additional minutes at the end of this first half. The lead that Kashima Antlers will take into the second period. The lead provided for them by Shintaro Nago with his 3rd goal of the month. And it has his side on course as it stands for another important victory, which would take them level on points with the leaders. Machida Zelvi not in action until tomorrow. The Antlers trying to close the gap. They're on course against Consa. He didn't create much of their own, really, despite just shading the possession in that first period. One moment of quality from Nago has his side ahead. Half-time at the Sapporo Dome. It is Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo 0. Kashima Antlers 1.
トパートナーはアディダスジャパンモルテン。スポーツ振興パートナーはスポーツくじ。オフィシャルチケッティングパートナーはギア。オフィシャル EC プラットフォームパートナーは楽天グループ。オフィシャルテクノロジーパートナーは NTT グループ。以上の各社が今年の明治安田 J リーグを熱くサポートいたします。
北海道札幌クラシック。変わらないもの、
変わり続けるもの、
北海道新聞社。
ここで札幌ビールプレゼンツ札幌クラシックでスペシャルプレゼントの当選商品を発表します。それでは皆さん、ご入場の際に先着1万5000名様にお配りしましたオリジナルクリアファイルの中に入っているチラシをご覧ください。チラシ表面、ハーフタイム抽選会の丸枠の中に星型のシールが貼ってある方が当選となります。それでは発表します。金色のシールは札幌クラシックデー賞。本日のスタメン選手11名のサイン入りレプリカユニフォームを2名様に。銀色のシールは札幌ビール賞、札幌クラシック1つ。札幌クラシック2缶を75名様に。商品の引き換えは期間ゲートにつき、商品引き換えブースにて試合終了後から30分間行います。なお、未成年の方がご当選の場合はリボンナポリンとの引き換えになりますのでご了承ください。以上、札幌クラシックデーハーフタイム抽選会当選商品の発表でした。続いてタイ国政府観光庁からお知らせです。本日の札幌クラシックデーにお越しの皆さんにラッキーチャンスの抽選企画をご用意しました。商品はなんと微笑みの国タイへの2泊4日旅行をスタジアムにお越しの皆さんの中から1名様にプレゼントします。入場ゲートでお配りしたクリアファイルの中に1つだけ こちらのデザインの当選券が入っております。当選券が当たったラッキーなお客様は試合終了時までに当選券を持って北ゲート1総合案内までお越しください。本日のタイフェストではスタジアム内でタイ文化をお楽しみいただきましたが、ぜひタイ旅行に来られる際は本場のタイ料理、タイマッサージ、ムエタイ、トゥクトゥクなどたくさんの魅力あふれるタイをお楽しみください。タイ国政府観光庁およびタイ王国は皆様を笑顔でお迎えいたします。続いて高い情報をお知らせいたします。中越キックオフのジュビロ磐田対湘南ベルマーレ、前半終了してすでに湘南ベルマーレがリードしています。本日そして明日行われる試合はご覧の通りです。先頭に赤黒の選手たちが一に戻ってきました。勝利へ向けて皆さんの熱い思いで選手たちをさらに奮い立たせてください。この会場一丸となって全員の力で諦めず。
So welcome back. We're almost set for the start of the second half then in Sapporo. Kashima Antlers lead at Concept by a goal to nil. Would take them level on points with the leaders at the top of the J1 League. Just the one effort at goal, and that was off target from Consadole. In the first half, they need to find much more of a threat if they are to turn this one around in front of their home fans. It's to rediscover the free-scoring form of last season, Amisha Petrovic's team. Hasn't happened yet. Sugano in goals, a little unlucky, having made the save from Shintaro Nago just prior to the opening goal. And the follow-up was thumped beyond him. That was number 30, with the crucial contribution so far. His third goal of the season. They have all come this month. And they have his team on course as it stands for what would be a third successive victory in J1. 7 games unbeaten. A couple of points dropped in that sequence was a 3-3 home draw against Tokyo Verdy in the middle of the month, when they let slip a 3-0 lead late in the game. We have second half drama here. We shall see. Superchok as close as anyone for Consa in that first half. It was his effort that dropped just high and wide. Kashima Antlers in their change kit in the white to get this second half underway, leading at Consadole Sapporo by a goal to nil. Determined to maintain this impressive recent run that they are on in pursuit of a 9th J1 title. They already have more than any other club in the history of this league. The last of them came back in 2016, and by Kashima's standards it's been a lengthy, frustrating wait. I do sense that 2024 could be their year. And they weren't too far away from the mix last season before falling away pretty badly in the closing stages. Plenty still to prove this time around at this stage of the season, but here they come, opening up already for Maruka there. Didn't really stretch Sugano. Suzuki stayed down. Looks in particular pain. Clutching that left knee is Yuma Suzuki. And this, I think, is why collision with Okamura. But It was purely an accidental collision, looking at that. In front of his own coaching staff, Ranko Popovic assessing the scene and having his say as well. The defender in question, Suzuki, not really had the chance yet to add to his 7 league goals this season. He was their top scorer last year as well with 14. And he is the focal point really of this side, playing as the centre forward. He often drops deeper into midfield to pick up possession, to try and link the play as well. We've seen that pretty frequently throughout the course of this contest so far. Role to play. Yeah, for his game plan. He's still moving a little gingerly, trying to run off the effects of that knock to the knee. Nakamura rising to try and challenge for that. Instead for Maruka. It's Kashusana. Trying to keep things ticking over in midfield. 4 times capped Japanese international. The Kodai actually plays in the Eredivisie these days with NAC in Nijmegen. He's in the 2nd season with Kashima after 4 years at Machida Zelvia, where he previously played actually under Ranko Popovic. United with his current coach in Kashima. With the lineups going across the bottom of your screen, no changes by either boss at the interval. Just enough on that for the goalkeeper. His effort was quickly charged down. Good one for Hayakawa. He didn't know an awful lot about it, but he put himself in the position there to apply the pressure on the goalkeeper. The second side that Popovic has been able to put out of late. They'll apply some pressure of their own here. Might open up for the shot for the goal scorer, Nago. It did. Didn't really generate the power in it for Bitsugana. There with Nakama. Suga. Superchok. Rising well. Komai able to bring it down. Trying to tee up Kim Gun-hee. Didn't really strike it with conviction, did he? Still looking for his first goal of the season as the centre forward. Much of it that has been spent as a substitute after his return from injury. He's just leaning backwards really as he took a bit of a swing at that. He'll go back to September for his last goal, which came off the bench against Gampo Osaka. Goals last season actually came as a substitute in J1. It's only the 6th start that he's made in this division in total in what is now his 3rd season with Consadole. Was well waited for Nono. Has it under control. On the Nakamura, who was having none of it, stood his ground, got the challenge in. Superchok. Komai. And he'd done well initially, only then to see his pass cut out. Not been too much change to the overall pattern of play in the early stages of this second half. Takuma Arano to Toyo Nakamura. Komai. Wide for Takao. Full of attacking intent. Progress was just halted. Another useful spell of possession this for Consadole. Nakamura's got options ahead of him. Astray. Here's Suzuki helping it on into space. Here comes the counter-attack. Maruka leading the charge. He does have support arriving. Consa quick to get players back behind the ball. Nono delivers deep towards Suzuki. He was trying to lay it off for Nago in the middle. It's a bit more menace about Kashima Antlers though when they come forward. They don't tend to do so particularly frequently, but when they do, there is a threat. To Wada. Sekigawa alongside him at centre-back. That was caught. He was late, wasn't he, Tanaka? Stepping into the challenge there. Had already gone. Well, there's always a big pressure on Kashima Antlers because of their rich history and tradition. Been such disappointment that recent title challenges have fallen short, despite a consistency in finishing within the top 5 every year since they last won it. More really is required. This is a decent little spell for them. Suzuki. The target almost came his way, still might yet, but Nago was able to get a foot in. Nakamura can clear it. "19 domestic trophies in total down the years for Kashima Antlers, Japan's most successful club in the professional era. The record 8 J-League titles. They've won the League Cup 6 times. That is also a record. The Emperor's Cup 5 times. The Super Cup 6 times. They did the domestic treble back at the turn of the century. First J-League side ever to manage that. In 2016 they became the first Asian club to reach the FIFA Club World Cup final, which they only lost in extra time to Real Madrid. Champions League winners in 2018. Yokohama F. Marinos follow them later today. Second leg of that final, they take a 2-1 lead to the United Arab Emirates in Al Ain. Sugano had to come and take evasive action there and now has to hurry back again, and he's not going to get there. Full punishment applied by Nago. Wonderful technique, quick thinking, matched by the execution to double the lead and pile on the problems for Petrovic and his team. As Kashima Antlers look set to move level on points with the leaders today, so Consa remain in real trouble at the other end, and much of this trouble of their own doing. Not quite enough on the header back for Sugano. He didn't get enough on the clearance, and that's brilliant from Nago to score his second goal of the game. Sugano at full stretch, scrambling, couldn't quite get back to it. Couldn't quite reach it. It was placed beyond him by Nago, who's doubled his tally for the season in the course of this one afternoon under the dome. It's a long way back for Consa from here. Late in the first half and early in the second half, Shintaro Nago. It's back the way of Komai here. Consa needs something, and quickly, really, to provide some renewed hope for themselves. It appears to be slipping away. Superchok to Suga on the less favoured right foot. Superchok on the end of that, though. It's out only as far as Okamura. There has been a response straight away. Arano's effort hit the arm. Good spot by the referee. Free kick given. And credit to Consa for the way that they have immediately tried to clear their heads from the disappointment of that concession and apply some more concerted pressure of their own at the other end. Haven't really seen yet today until now. I suspect they will need to make it count soon to give themselves a chance. This could be the opportunity from the free kick. Arano, who played his part in winning it, bounces it. Suga stands over it as well. He's capable of the spectacular from range. This is certainly well within his type of territory. Still yet to trouble the target all game, Consa. This is their chance to change that. Is the one that will take it. Not quite. Not quite. It's only their third shot at goal of the game. This was perhaps the closest to being on target. Around that wall, the goalkeeper may well have had it covered had it been heading the other side of the post. It did not miss by much. Bit of a swipe at that Arano, and when it left his boot, he must have thought it had every chance. They don't create too much this season, Consa. Only a couple of clubs below them in the standings when it comes to shots at goal in a game. Very different story to last season. And a change here for the Antlers. Maruka making way for Alexander Čavrić, who's had a fine first season at the club. He's on loan from Slovan Bratislava in Slovakia. He started the first 9 games of the season. It's a 7th straight game in which Ranko Popovic there has called for him off the bench. Only Suzuki has scored more for Kashima this season than the Croatian-born former Serbian under-21 international. The thick of the action here, cutting it back for Suzuki, who's missed it. It'll take Čavrić long to make an impact. Sharp chance for Suzuki. Given the form that he's been in this season, he might have expected to make more of it. One of the newcomers for Kashima for this season. They do have the option to make that loan move a permanent one. Announced at the end of 2022 that he was pursuing Slovak citizenship. He's been based in Bratislava with Slovan since 2016. Certainly strengthened their squad for this season, and we'll hope to have his say in the closing half an hour. Team looking comfortable right now. Consadole plotting changes of their own, very much in the plural. Suzuki helping it on. This is Čavrić. Linking it back up for Suzuki. Got his head to it, and Nakama couldn't quite get a touch to it. It whistled just wide in the end. The cue it is for these changes then for Consadole. To bring Hasegawa into the action. Hara will come on as well, and Katsuyuki Tanaka. Triple change. Hiromu Tanaka making way, as do Takao and Nakamura at the back. So attacking changes really, as they need to be, I guess, in the circumstances.
背番号37田中克之が入ります。
No surprise to see Petrovic mix it up at this stage. Will it get the desired response from his side? We shall see. It's a big ask. It's going to be another one. Kim is coming off as well. Azumi, the centre-back who actually scored their goal on Wednesday in the League Cup. His first of his first season at the club is on as well. A couple of years playing with Iwaki before making the step up to the top flight this term. A late goal in midweek that forced the penalty shootout. So it really is all change at this juncture for Consa. Need something to change out there on the pitch to rescue anything today. Did win their last home game, as I mentioned, against Jubilo Owata, but that only home victory in the last 4. Going back to last season, it's just 2 wins in 10 in front of their own supporters. This is Suga. Arano. Looks like Super Chop now has moved into the middle of the attack. Kim having gone off. We'll see how it settles down in the next few minutes. The majority of those weren't like-for-like changes. Suga brings it down. Always on his mind to have a go there. The only thought really on his mind was to strike that. It's no second invitation, Daiki Suga. Well, there's 3 goals last season. He's yet to open his account in this campaign. Here he is again. Azumi has slotted in at centre-back. There's going to be some space in behind, given the high line that Consa are currently operating. Manzai. Nakama. Just held up by Tanaka, who has yet to start in J1 for the club. It's the 7th time that he's been summoned off the subs bench. First appearance since April for him. Referee was right on the scene there. He's played the advantage, I think, because Kashima still have it. In a promising position. Just able to cut that out and clear it. 3rd goal for the Antlers at this stage, and it would be all over, you suspect. It's despite the fact that they did, as I touched on, surrender that 3-0 lead against Tokyo Verdy only a few games ago, to settle for a 3-3 draw in that one. The exception to the recent rule, though, this winning run that they're on in this division. It doesn't appear as if the League Cup loss at Machida Zelvia in midweek has affected that momentum too much. Well worked here. Nono almost in behind. Suga gets back. Antlers waiting to make a change of their own, but this free kick taken quickly by Arano. There he is again. That tries to set the tempo of the game for them in midfield, Takano Arano. Suga. Ayazumi. Sokamura. Kashima content, I think, to let Komsa have possession in this part of the pitch. They don't need to press too high any longer with that 2-goal lead already assembled. Won't be taking any chances from here, you suspect. Forward by Ayazumi, straight through to Hayakawa, just able to readjust. Suzuki skipped away from him. Challenges flying in. Referee again let that go initially because Komsa were coming clear with it. Now they've got the free kick. Heading to the closing quarter of the contest. Third successive win in this fixture for Kashima Antlers, and they wrap it up here with Nakama. Nakamura holds up his progress, support arriving from Anzai. Suzuki to Koki Anzai, those two combine once more, probing for a way through. Ultimately unable to find one. Is all on those in red and black to try and find a route back into the game. Haven't really shown enough yet to suggest that that is likely. Changes in white on the way. This may well afford Popovic the chance to make those changes here. Saki's going to come on. It's not going to be a hat-trick for Nago. Looks like he's making way as well. Kaku Shibaseki introduced into the action. Club captain along with Yuta Higuchi, and it's Nakama as well as Nago. He comes off in that double change. Off the bench for the 5th league game in a row now, to maintain his record of playing a part in every league match so far this season. The former Sagan Tosu, attacking midfield player. And Shibaseki will just strengthen that area of the side for the last 20 minutes or so. Notable appearance though for Shibaseki, his first of the season, which is his second year of his second spell at the club. He only rejoined back in September from Leganes after 7 years in Spanish football. ideal situation to step into, really, on his seasonal bow. Come on Wednesday in the League Cup at Zelvia. And his team coming forward here with all sorts of options in the middle. Grateful to be able to gather that was Sugano at the end of it all. Lost it in dangerous territory, only for Sumi to win the ball back. Not for long. She trying to play the pass towards Chavrich. Arano infield. Nakamura. Baba. Here is Shibasaki. First joined from high school back in 2011. Giving the ball away here, and there was some power on the shot when it came. Straight at Hayakawa, it's pretty comfortably fielded. But Super Chop continues to look the most likely for Consadole. He's the one that caught it there. Go down as an effort on target, that one. Looking for options here is Tanaka. Super Chock and by Baba, but harmlessly through to Hayakawa. Antlers trying to close in on the clean sheet. Kept just 4 of those so far in this J1 season, including against Vissel Kobe last weekend. That was their first in 7 at the time. Sit pretty comfortably, Kashima Antlers at this stage, don't they? Of course, they have edged the possession throughout the course of the game. 54% of the ball, but not been able to translate that into chances. They are running out of time to begin doing so, really. Been the urgency yet from the home side. Not been able to unlock this Kashima Antlers defence. Has had some question marks asked to see some question marks over it. Relatively untroubled for the majority of this afternoon's contest, but Consa trying to change that here going into the closing quarter of an hour. Baba's cross was met by Komai. Didn't quite nod it down into more dangerous territory, as seemingly was his intention. He will come again here with Hasegawa. Promoted last season on loan at Tokyo Verdy from Yokohama. Was Hasegawa, a new signing for Consadole for this year. 12th time we've seen him off the subs bench. He's only started the 1 league game for Petrovic's team. Coach's reaction there, telling the story to a certain extent today. And if anything, really, it is the story of their season so far. Plenty of effort and endeavour, at times some promising signs, but not been able to translate that into any real tangible reward. Consadole continue like this for too much longer, they will be very much embroiled in a relegation battle this season. Six times champions of the second tier, taking on the 8 times champions of Japan. Again, as it stands, coming up short. Free kick in a promising position as well for Kashima here. Higuchi is the one standing over it. Targets up from the back. Maeda and Sekigawa both in there. By Higuchi. It was Wader who was the target, really the closest to getting something on it. Might have to hurry back yet. It's Super Chop dispossessed. To Hayakawa they will go. Just lost it for a moment there. He's able to retrieve the situation. Tomoki Hayakawa. Wader. Sharpich keeps it in and then comes clear of Baba with it. And helps it on invitingly here. Gets it back again. And did not miss by much. Alexander Chavrich. Really well. Shibaseki combining with him. Trying to return the favour. Absolutely nothing there that Sugano could have done had it gone the other side of the post. He was taken completely out of the equation. We are talking the merest of margins there, and that really would have surely wrapped it up at 3-0. Already needing to do they've managed only once all season and score more than once in a game if they're to get anything today. His third goal is still looking more likely to come at the other end. Shibaseki in his first league appearance of the season, offered again club captain, almost involved straight away. First league appearance since October. It was back in 2012 that he was the J-League Rookie of the Year in his first stint with Kashima Antlers straight out of school. A player that's gone on to win 60 caps for Japan. Did actually go to the last World Cup in 2022 without getting a game, but he was ever present for them in 2018. His cap was as captain of Japan against Canada. Just before the World Cup. Could be a very useful option for Kashima Antlers as this season goes on, now that he's back in the picture, back available again. So he only returned late last season to Spanish football. Sugano forward, last 10 minutes now of the 90. This is Shibaseki. That was risky. Here's the chance for Komai. Just crowded out of it though. And it was a chance for Yoshiaki Komai, not one that he was able to make the most of as it transpired. He found himself surrounded, but there was a moment there when he first received the ball, was really gifted the ball. And looked like he was going to be in the clear. Probably should have been, had he been a little more decisive. Chavric. With a reminder that Vladimir Milosavljevic, another of the newcomers this season, has joined the injury list. Started both of their League Cup matches and was injured in the latter on Wednesday in round 3. Hamstring problem, which will keep him out for a couple of months, we understand. So from Ranko Popovic's former club boy for Dina in March. This is Suzuki or Chavric. Did well to keep his feet, just couldn't quite find the angle from there. Valiant attempt from that sort of distance. See why he has scored lots of goals already this season. 5 of them so far. Last came off the bench in the 3-1 victory at Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Just a couple of games ago. Kisuga. Azumi. This is Okamura. Consadole are going to have to start taking a few risks, really, if they are to harbour any hopes of getting back in this. Not doing enough yet with the possession that they've had. Here is Hasegawa. Komai, Hasegawa. Done well there to get his foot in. Had Higuchi, and he's now picked the pass for Suzuki. Forced wide, support then arriving in the middle. Awano got the challenge in, wins the ball back. Forward by Hasegawa. Without the accuracy required. Currently only have Kyoto Sanga below them in the table. They'll play at Nagoya Grampus tomorrow, by the way. If this stays as it is, they would have the opportunity to move off the foot of the table and above Consa. Only 2 points between the clubs. Kashima Antlers looking to put 3 goals between these clubs today. That was ambitious. From Anzai, and ultimately errant. Shows the confidence maybe of Popovic's team right now that he was prepared to take it on. Did score in the second round of the League Cup earlier in the season in April. That's his only goal since September of 2019, playing in Portugal for Portimonense. Stint that he had between spells with the Antlers. He's scored in J1 since May of 2019. Remarkably, that was 2 goals in successive games at the time. He's yet to add another one since then. Awano here is the furthest forward now, having made that run from deep. He covered a lot of ground to get there. Couldn't quite get hold of the ball, but Hasegawa will swing it back in. And it wasn't too far away when the shot came from Tanaka. Trying to take it in his stride here. To try and improvise in doing so. Got it all wrong in the end. Just deceived maybe by that bounce right at the last moment. For his first goal in senior football, having joined for this year out of Meiji University. Higuchi will get it back. Shibasaki, this is Suzuki. Very decent job, Kashima, of just closing this out, really. Taking the sting out of the situation. Consa haven't as yet proved too capable of providing much of it anyway, really. They haven't looked overly likely, have they? They are now rapidly running out of time. The Antlers have their opponents where they want them. She can provide from the corner. Oh, it's in. It's 3. Chavric, who met it in some space on that near post. 3-0 and 3 points for Kashima Antlers. Level on points now with the leaders in J1. 3 successive victories. Piling on the problems for Petrovic and his side down at the other end of the table. There's no end in sight to the struggles in Sapporo. It was in from Chavric before it came back out again. That's his 6th goal of the season. Just reacted smartly. And he had a fair bit of the goal to aim at, didn't he, on that near post? Really well worked, as it turned out, from that corner kick. Surely no way back now. The question is whether there is a route to safety in Sapporo this season for Consadole. So their early season struggles are extended yet further. Chavric joining Nago on the score sheet. The punishment potentially still to be applied, maybe. Sagawa will win the free kick. Arano. Petrovic will be really frustrated at the concession of that third and the nature of it as well. Denying them really any chance of a late comeback, putting it beyond them. Arano taking the pass from Superchong. Leaving it here for Tanaka. Cleared back his way. Hasegawa swings it in. It needed the touch from Sekagawa to concede only the corner. That's what he could do really in the circumstances. I want the clean sheet, Kashima, as well now, just to ice the cake, really. For a hugely professional performance that they put in. How about that for support, though? Volume levels have not really dipped at any stage under the dome. So in comes the corner from Tanaka, into the gloves it goes of Hayakawa. Again, not really extended by that. 4 additional minutes at the end of the 90, and a couple more changes from Kashima Antlers here. Sumura is going to come on, part of this double change. So will Sugai, Nono and Suzuki there making way. With their parts effectively played already. Hidehiro Sugai on for the 8th time this season off the bench, yet to start a game this season. Sumura, another who is also yet to start in the league. He's begun both of the League Cup matches. He's off the bench for the 6th time this season. His last start actually was when he scored on the final day of last season. He'll take the place of Suzuki for the 4 minutes plus of stoppage time. It'll probably just extend that a little further, that double change. Now that both clubs would probably want the whistle now, given how this has gone. So back in action a week tomorrow at Tokyo Verdy. That's their next game for the second round of the Emperor's Cup. Big one coming up for Kashima next weekend at home to Yokohama F. Marinos. So we look at the goals from Shintaro Nago. Either side of the interval that put his team in charge. Chavric had what might prove to be the final say. We were watching on from the bench by the time that third goal went in. We have Marinos next up next weekend for Kashima. We'll find out later today whether they will be the new Asian champions coming into that game. You can see it through in the second leg against Al Ain later today. Here is Baba. Suga. Fizzed in with some menace there, plenty of purchase on it, certainly. Still not happening though for Consa. But they have scored in each of their last 7 home games. To score in the first home game of the season, the loss against Urawa Reds. Doesn't seem as if they're going to be shut out again under the dome today. Push players forward there. Caught short again, that one long ball. Getting Kashima Antlers back on the attack, but Sumara wasn't able to make the most of it this time. Didn't necessarily need to. Persisted with Petrovic and have been content to do so, Consadole, whilst they were safe in mid-table in the vast majority of his years in the job. This is his 7th season in charge now. All of them in the top flight. But the spectre of relegation becoming a real possibility this year. Still relatively early stages of the season, of course, but requisite signs of improvements have yet to materialise. We've played the 4 added minutes. There will be time though for this Kashima corner before the conclusion. A bit of movement in the middle. It almost came all the way through. It did in the end for Ueda. Just missed one centre-back, Sekigawa, on one post, came for Ueda on the other. So are able to get that one clear. And again for Baba. One have been Antlers' last attack. Sugano thumps it forward. That's Sumara. Content enough, I think, to head towards the corner. The job has long since been done, though, for Kashima Antlers. 3rd straight win moves them level on points with the leaders at the top of J1. Their impressive recent form continues. Alexander Chavric off the bench to have the final say in the scoring, converting from the corner late in the game, after Shintaro Nago had scored twice either side of half-time. Awano's effort from the free kick maybe as close as Consa came. They didn't come close enough, frequently enough, for Petrovic's side. That has been something of the story of their season. 2 really well-taken goals from Nago, making the difference and earning the victory for Kashima Antlers. Full-time at the Sapporo Dome. Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo 0. Kashima Antlers 3. So the problems persist for Petrovic. No end in sight to their struggles right now in Sapporo, for a side that still have just the 2 wins all season. This is 3 in a row, though, for Kashima Antlers. It stretches their unbeaten run to 7 matches in J1. They've only dropped 2 points, actually, in that sequence So it's over to Machida Zelvia to try and pull clear again at the top tomorrow. They have a tough one actually at Arawa Reds. They still lead the Antlers on goal difference. Kashima up above Vissel Kobe as a result of this victory. Champions hosting Tokyo Verdy tomorrow. And it was a well-earned victory, wasn't it? Shavlic with his 6th goal of the season. And what is a 7th straight appearance as a sub. Hasn't slowed his productivity really in front of goal, losing his starting spot that he held in the opening weeks of the season. 2 really well-taken goals from Shintaro Nago prior to that, had Kashima in charge by then. Really, you sense those 2 goals would be more than enough before Shavlic made sure. They are generating real momentum. And it's important to move on swiftly from the League Cup loss at Machida Zelvia on Wednesday. Hasn't interrupted their impressive league form. Taking that 9th title, very much the priority this season for Kashima. And a real sense beginning to build under Ranko Popovic that they can do it. Get some reaction for you.
2ゴール、1試合2ゴールでした。今の気持ちをお願いします。
素直に嬉しいですけど、チームとして勝利できたことが一番かなと思います。
まず1点目ですが、相手キーパーに弾かれました。ただ粘り強かったですね。あのシーンを振り返ってください。
そうですね、攻撃のところで、味方がうまく連動して、全員で取ったゴールだと思います。
そして2点目ですが、